Hi, I'm DinoMikeMak, and I'm here with Colin from Jurassic Action Review. And
Hi,
today we're
everybody.
and today we're here talking about Jurassic World Rebirth and the Mattel Jurassic line as a whole. Now, in the past couple of weeks, we've had a lot of news from Jurassic World Rebirth, including the drop of the new trailer. And in the past week, we've had a lot of news from Mattel's Jurassic line as well, in terms of New York Toy Fair, as well as additional leaks and releases that we've come to find out about. Now, I think we're going to start off first by talking about Jurassic World Rebirth itself. Now, Colin, what are your thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth in general?
I'm actually pretty excited about the brand new story. I am loving that the connection to, well, as far as right now from the trailer, that is connecting to Jurassic Park, the original, original movie. I'm not honestly quite sure how I feel about the mutant yet, but I am very interested in the timeline of everything because it's the abandoned island again. So it's very sore on us, but we'll see what the difference are this time.
Yeah, I think everybody's quite excited about the new timeline, aren't they? They've kind of pitched this movie as being in quite a ways in the future, around 5 years after the events of Dominion, and then going
Right.
back to an island that kind of was founded and discovered and was run before Jurassic Park even opened. So that's quite an interesting direction to go. From what I can see in the trailer, however, I've noticed that what we're doing on the island doesn't really require us to be 5 years in the future from Dominion.
Hmm.
We seem to be going there to get DNA from three of the largest dinosaurs, aquatic species, and pterosaurs in this case, and trying to find a cure for heart disease from dinosaurs that have supposedly been on this island since pre
Before Jurassic
1990.
Park.
Yeah, since
Right.
pre
Yeah.
1993. So, do you have any thoughts on why they could have possibly chosen to have this movie take place after Dominion, as opposed to being, let's say, between Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World?
I honestly am not sure. I wonder if it's more of a branding, so it doesn't have a branding crisis
Yeah,
because
no, that's
Jurassic
true.
World is, yes, Jurassic World's still so fresh in everyone's mind. Um, yeah, I'm not quite sure. I feel like it's pretty, I don't know. It's interesting that they're finding a way to connect to the original Jurassic Park, and I can't
Yeah,
wait to find out what the twist is in the movie. There has to be a twist in there
yeah.
somewhere.
The summary does mention a an interesting revelation that will occur as they venture through the island. Whether that's a
Right,
mutant or additional other information that our characters find out about, we're not really sure
right,
yet. But
right.
yeah, I think overall the reason why is because they want to make a sequel. I think sequels sell better than making prequels overall, so that might be
Oh,
why.
yeah.
But
True.
plot wise, I feel like they've really constrained themselves on making it 5 years after Dominion by A, bounding the time between Dominion in this movie as 5 years specifically, and B, by making it so that all the dinosaurs that aren't near the equator are now somehow dead, which kind of
Right.
contradicts
No,
the
yeah.
ending of Dominion. Yeah,
Kind of a rebranding of the whole thing. Yeah, I can
yeah,
see that. I can see. And they're not as time constricted, I guess, because if we put in between Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World, they still have to work within somewhat of a timeline. At least
yeah,
this time around, they're kind of broad with how far they can take it.
yeah. I think what you mentioned regarding them going back to a Jurassic Park era kind of complex or island
Yes,
is interesting because I think we are going to see a lot of nostalgic aspects of this in terms of the vehicle designs as well as maybe like
absolutely.
the architecture choices, the dinosaur designs. Obviously, we're seeing the T-Rex design, which is quite similar to
Hmm.
the Jurassic Park T-Rex, as opposed to the Jurassic
Right.
World T-Rex. We're seeing a Dilophosaurus design, which is quite akin to the novel, but also quite similar to the original Jurassic Park design, as well as
Yes.
potentially other species that will be quite Jurassic Park inspired, as opposed to Jurassic
That
World
we haven't.
inspired.
Right. Right.
And I think this is a good time to move on to talk about the characters and the dinosaurs that are in this movie. What are your thoughts on the
Absolutely.
characters in this movie?
I love that we have a new lead character. I love that we're branching out from Owen and Claire and Ian. I love that. I don't know how I feel about the family though. Honestly, I kind of wish that it wasn't another family involved in
Yeah,
Lost in an Island. You know, I feel
yeah.
like we've done that plenty of times.
Yeah, and I think it is quite interesting that we're saying that this is a incredibly dangerous island once again, where these are the worst of
Right.
the worst that have been rejected from the original Jurassic Park, which was already quite dangerous. And for some
As
reason,
is.
not only do we have an expedition to this island, we have a stranded family of survivors who have somehow been living on this island for God knows how
Full
long.
of full
Yeah.
of these rejected dinosaurs with
Yeah.
no type of restrictions on this
Yeah.
island.
And this doesn't seem to be an Eric Kirby situation where there's only one person surviving. This entire family has somehow managed to all survive for I don't know how long. Um,
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So
yeah.
that part is kind of redundant
Yeah.
because if you're explaining a new Jurassic Park or World movie to someone, every movie starts off with there's a dinosaur on the island. So
Yes.
this one kind of in the beginning when I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, so we're doing Jurassic Park 3 again. But then
Yeah.
after watching the whole thing, it's kind of a remix of Lost World and Jurassic Park 3.
Yes, actually, yeah, that is quite
So it's kind of
true.
interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting still.
We are getting quite a rescue type scenario from Jurassic Park 3 in terms of the ending of this movie regarding the helping the family of survivors somehow.
Yes.
But the start of the movie
Yes.
is quite Fallen Kingdom or the Lost Road esque in terms of we us
Yes.
creating a group of mercenary characters who are going back to the islands to collect something from the island, whether that's dinosaurs in Fallen Kingdom or evidence of the dinosaurs living happily on the island in the Lost World. So that is quite
Yes.
interesting. And in terms of the characters, what do you think about our new lead, Zora Bennett, and our other lead, Dr. Henry Loomis?
I think it's nice and refreshing. I like that. I don't know. It's just kind of still kind of mystery to me. Like, why are we all on this island? I understand we're getting the DNA, but how did you talk him into going with you? You know, and why did you need him to go with you? If we're
Yeah,
just getting DNA, I mean, maybe because he have knowledge of dinosaurs, but I feel like they done that in Lost World. They just had a little brochure of what they want to capture.
yeah,
So, you know, who I still can't really put my finger on what is this mission really about. I still can't
yeah.
really put it on why is he really there.
I think the characters are being misled. I think a lot of theories are around the fact that the characters are being misled. This isn't the actual island
Yeah,
that they think it is. And
yeah,
I
right.
think the part of the reveal is going to be the fact that these characters have gotten themselves into a situation that they don't actually know very much about. And I think the character from the pharmaceutical company, who I'm not entirely sure their name,
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
might eventually, yeah, might have created this team based on the actual mission as opposed to the mission that they've been advertising to these crew members. So
right.
that
The
might be quite
twist in the
interesting.
whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So if
Just yeah,
so maybe the pharmaceutical guy is helping them by creating a good team for the actual mission. But at the current moment, it is a very interesting group of characters with yeah, with a
mercenaries. Yeah,
mercenaries, a
like
paleontologist, and yeah,
yeah.
especially because to our knowledge, Dr. Henry Loomis here hasn't actually seen a real dinosaur and has mostly studied the fossils. And maybe someone who's worked at Jurassic Park or Jurassic World might be a better fit for this kind of a job,
You
given that
right.
they
You would think.
yeah.
You
But
would think.
yeah, regarding these newly alive dinosaurs, let's talk about these dinosaurs actually. Um,
Absolutely.
on this slide, we have the Spinosaurus design, the Velociraptor design, as well as the new T-Rex design. In addition to these three dinosaurs, we also have the reveal of Dilophosaurus, Titanosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus, Mosasaurus, and potentially a bunch of other dinosaurs which are going to be on this island. Now, what
Mhm.
are your thoughts on these new dinosaur designs?
I actually like them. I like that. It's refreshing to see different takes on the dinosaur because I feel like every movie they do redesign a certain, you know, dinosaurs a certain way. Might
Yeah,
not be as big of a difference, but like the Dilophosaur from original Jurassic Park is different than the one we finally saw in Dominion. But the Spinosaur, I hear that is causing a big uproar within the community themselves because it
yeah,
doesn't look like the exact one we saw at Jurassic Park. This one is more paleo correct,
to some
and
degree,
I don't
yes.
mind it. Yeah, to some degree, and I don't mind it. I kind of enjoy that the Mosasaur is redesigned. I mean, it's still huge, but I this time around it seems more whale-like than reptile.
Yes. It does seem to have
Um,
taken quite a lot of inspiration from the prehistoric planet design, which is quite paleo accurate. And I think a
mhm.
lot of people are, in general, quite happy with the mosasaur design. I think this time they've really done a good job with that design. The
Absolutely.
Spinosaur is a point of controversy, though. I think everybody agrees
Yeah.
on that, yeah. The render that we have on screen right now does look quite a bit like the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Baryonyx render in terms of both
Hmm.
pose and
Oh, yes, it
design.
does. Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
So I think given the 1 year production time, or just a bit more than a year production time,
Yeah.
they have had to reuse some assets, I think. No, they have had to start
Absolutely. I
off
feel like
start off on these dinosaur designs.
tracing over at least. Right.
Yeah. And I think we are going to see that in a lot of merchandise. I think we see that at New York Toy Fair in terms of the Uno cards, the Mattel packaging, as well as
Yes.
other brands which have used the Jurassic Park name or Jurassic World Rebirth dinosaurs in their products. As you can see on the screen right now, these are the best quality renders that we have at the moment. They're not even renders; they are technically like artistic depictions of these dinosaurs. We can see that the Rex is quite obviously a Jurassic Park T-Rex, possibly traced over.
Right.
The
Still.
Spinosaurus seems to
Yeah.
be the Fallen Kingdom Baryonyx traced over. The Velociraptor, everybody seems to be in agreement that it's the Velociraptor Blue Fallen Kingdom render traced over with a slightly modified head and obviously color scheme. Actually, on that note, what do you think of the Raptor?
I like the Raptor because I really did enjoy the Jurassic Park 3 Raptor.
Yeah,
I haven't like again, I can't base off of these renders because
yeah,
I believe even Titanosaur, the one we saw in the Uno at Toy Fair, is the first rendition versus the one we saw in the trailer. So
yes,
these could possibly be, like you said, done a year ago, and by the
yeah,
time the film is finished in production, is a whole different dinosaur. I mean,
yeah.
at least with deco and, like you say, different features where I didn't even notice till you brought it up, the baryonymousness of the Spinosaurus.
Yeah. And actually, you bring up the Titanosaur and the Uno cards. I have realized that that Titanosaur does look quite a bit like the Mattel Titanosaur as opposed to the film one. So I think
Yes,
these concept arts are early concept arts as opposed to the final renders that we're going to see in the movie.
right.
So Mattel has been basing their toys off these renders or these concept arts as opposed to the actual movie models. And
Yes,
yeah, I think that's gonna be quite interesting to see play out because in Jurassic World Dominion, obviously they had 3 years to produce these toys as well as the designs, and even then we got toys that were quite different from their movie counterparts, the Giganotosaurus especially, I think. And even now we still don't
right.
have accurate franchise accurate toys of say Moros or Oviraptor or anything like that from like the multi sequences where we didn't get concept
Yeah,
art or where we didn't have models locked in probably right until a couple of months before
yeah.
the movie was released. But yeah,
But I feel like it's sorry. It's I feel like
yeah,
it's kind of expected with the shorter production of this movie. I feel like they just zoomed in a year later. They brought out film because I thought it was going to
yeah,
get at least delayed, honestly. But
yeah,
no, they made it happen, and so it makes sense that Mattel might have used these renders to make the toys. But again, by the time because it takes what 12 to 16 months for a toy to be concept to the store shelf, so it
at
makes
least,
sense.
yeah, probably,
Yes. So it makes sense. For sure, the Titanic deco is not the same as the movie already,
yeah,
which is expected. They change it around.
yeah,
But yeah, I can see why by the time the toys release, it might not reflect what we saw in the film.
yeah. I think the last dinosaur that we have to talk about that we haven't mentioned yet is the Quetzalcoatlus. What are your thoughts
Yes.
on this new design?
It's different. I feel like I like it. I like it. I like that it's not as giant as the one we saw in Dominion.
Yeah,
But from what we saw on the trailer, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed
yeah.
it. I enjoyed it. It did what it needs to do. It flew, attacked.
But yeah, I think in terms of the Quetzalcoatlus, we are getting a Mattel toy, which is probably going to be based off concept art because obviously the deco
Yes,
is quite different between the Mattel toy and the actual
yes,
model in the film, as we see in the trailer.
yeah,
With regards to the design, I think a lot of people are quite skeptical about these designs because they look different from the other models in the franchise,
yes,
Spinosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus especially. I think the director has mentioned that all of these are going to be reject dinosaurs from the original park, so there is a
right,
potential for them to explain it in terms of that. In addition, I think that it's also important to consider that although we're naming these dinosaurs Spinosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus, Mosasaurus, etc., in real life there are a lot more dinosaur species and a lot more dinosaur morphologies in reality
hmm
than what we know of. We only know a
right.
very small percentage of dinosaurs and what they look like, and even then we're estimating what they're
It's
looking
art,
like. Yeah,
right?
using
Our
fossil evidence.
detection. Yeah,
Yeah. So there is a potential for a Spinosaurus to come out eventually that looks like this Spinosaurus, or a Quetzalcoatlus in this universe to be of another species, which has this design as opposed to the design from Jurassic World Dominion. And we do see that in real life with some bird species or some reptile species, where despite being of the same genus, they have wildly different morphologies in terms of species. Even in terms of sexual
Right.
dimorphism, we would have very different morphologies here. So there is a chance that although in this universe we've seen the most accurate Quetzalcoatlus design in terms of the biosyn design, this could still be an accurate Quetzalcoatlus design to some extent.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And then it also depends on because again, remember, they're mixing DNAs of current animals. So they could have mixed it with certain different animal and boom, we have a different version of Spinosaurus.
Yeah.
We have a different version of
In
the
this case, I
raptor.
think they have mentioned that they're not doing hybrids in this movie, so nothing will be explained by hybridization. But I think
Hmm.
the mutation aspect and the fact that we don't know every species on Earth and the fact that just general changes in morphology are present within species and within genuses can really explain a lot of the differences that we're seeing here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, the next topic that we were going to get into is the most controversial topic on the list. Oh, wait, no. We're going to talk about Aquilops first. This is the
Oh,
model that I've sculpted up based off the
it
Mattel
looks
toy
beautiful.
and the Microceratops design that we've already had. This is a depiction of what Aquilops dolores will possibly look like in a new film. It is basically just a Microceratops with like iguana-like scutes as well as two horns on its head. What do you think of the design? Because I love it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
so
love it.
yeah,
I'm Microceratops was one of my favorite from the Dominion line, which we never really got. Well, we got one in Mattel, but we
yeah.
never got it
We never got
after
the
failed line
Dominion
of
Microceratops.
Destructosaurus.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I feel
So
like
it would
that
be
would make a
nice.
great habit.
Yeah, it would be
Yes,
nice for them to make an Aquilops toy this time around. And if they don't, I
hopefully
will be
not too
releasing
big.
one within a
All
couple of
right,
months. We have the sculpt here. I will be producing this soon. So
nice.
count this as your exclusive reveal for this session regarding Paleo Revived.
All
But
right.
yeah, with regards to the controversial topic, let's talk about the mutant. The mutants, according to the director, is a cross between T-Rex, Xenomorph, Rancor, and a bunch of other different movie monsters. I'm seeing a bit of Gareth Edwards' Mutos in here in this design. What are your thoughts on the mutant?
I don't know how I feel about it. I am not opposed to a mutant and or a hybrid because again, you're making dinosaurs from DNA things, and it only makes sense that you're not going to get this perfect, beautiful dinosaur every time,
Yeah,
you know. So it makes sense that there will be mutants and things because even like the two-headed raptor is pretty interesting. I
yeah,
mean, it's weird, but it's interesting
yeah.
to see. But the mutant, I don't know because in the trailer, in one scene, it looked. I mean, it was big, but it was in
Yeah.
like some kind of gas
Holding
chamber.
chamber, yeah.
Yeah, but the next scene, it was huge.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel. I saw a little peek of it from one of the pictures they leaked out, but I
Okay.
haven't. Yeah,
Yeah. I think
not quite sure.
well, we've had a lot of people try to recreate this mutant as best as they can, both in terms of 3D
Right.
modeling, 2D art, etc. And what I'm noticing here is that this thing does look a lot like a Jurassic Park T-Rex, Jurassic World T-Rex, but they decided
Hmm.
to change the head, and a lot of other changes kind of follow from that. And I think we were talking about this earlier as well. The head looks
Yes.
a lot like a beluga whale or the Titanosaurus design in the movie.
Yes.
It seems like
Absolutely.
they've decided to change the head design to make it look messed up or scary. And because of it having a larger head, it needs to have larger back muscles, which creates that hump-like appearance on its body. And by
Yes.
making it have a hump-like appearance on its back, you've kind of had to adjust its proportions
Enlarge
accordingly
it.
because it's now very front heavy, and as we know, T-Rex walked on its hind legs with very small arms. So they've had to add
Right.
on an additional pair of appendages on with its larger arms and make it now a knuckle walker for some reason.
Yeah,
Um,
it looks
yeah,
almost primate-ish,
yeah,
that part.
yeah. I think a lot of people have mentioned that it does look kind of gorilla-like to some degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like the overall design ideology here is we've decided to make a very messed up looking T-Rex. We've decided to change the
Hmm.
head because obviously the head is the most noticeable part of any dinosaur. And by changing the
Right.
head, we've had to make a lot of logical modifications to the rest of the body to make sure that this thing does in fact stand, does in fact live, does in fact walk around. Because or else if it
Right.
had a
Right.
giant head, it'd kind of just have its head on the floor and it'd be crawling around, and that wouldn't make for a very effective animal overall.
Exactly.
But yeah,
But what do you think
so
about it? Are you open to it, like, as far as like fitting in the franchise, or you're kind of like that doesn't make sense for? our
I think if we
franchise.
look at it from the point of view of yes, we are going to mess up when we try to make dinosaurs. I don't think anybody's disputing that. Labs right now have like very high rates of cell death, even when they're trying to culture like human cells and stuff. So
Hmm.
it is not difficult to make a mutant or difficult to have a failure in terms of creating life. Um,
Right.
and if we're taking the point of view that they've decided to make one, or they've decided to refine the head, let's say, and they've made some modifications to the head, and as a result of that, eventually they've decided they've had to modify other features of the dinosaur, or the dinosaur itself has just evolved other features over time because of its new head design. Then I think this design does work. It logically makes sense. If you have a different head, you have to have different features in order for it to be alive, or else it would have died
Like you
in
said, to make
vitro. Yeah,
sense. Right. Right.
yeah. So yeah, so I'm not entirely opposed to it. I think there would have been better
Same.
designs. Hell, even an Ultimasaurus would have been pretty cool. I don't think anybody would have been opposed to the Ultimasaurus being in this movie. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, I like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm looking forward to see what the toy looks like, honestly, because we haven't
yeah.
seen an actual mainline release of the toy yet.
No, no, we haven't. So yeah, speaking of the toys, let's move on to the Jurassic World Rebirth line, and that's
All
topic two here.
right.
Now, obviously, we saw in the past week at New York Toy Fair 2025, Mattel brought forward an interesting assortment of figures here. As you can see from the setup, thanks to Jurassic Park podcast for their images, by the way, because this is an incredible image of the entire setup. Um, we
Very beautiful.
have five expensive figures. These are your feature figures, your electronic figures. You have a Titanosaur, the Spinosaur, the Rex, the Mosasaur, and the Quetzalcoatlus, as well as a bunch of assorted other items. You have a mask, you have claws, you have Uno cards, you have some RC vehicles, some Matchbox. So it is a very diversified assortment that they've brought forward, but it is a very far cry from 2018's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom assortment that they brought forward.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts? Why do you think they did this?
Honestly, I'm a little disappointed with the presentation. The toys
Yeah.
that they brought, beautiful, amazing. Like we will go down each figure,
Yes.
but as far as overall picture, I feel like it's disappoint. It's disappointed. You're missing the biggest event for Toy Fair
Yeah.
to promote your brand, to promote let the buyers know, hey, we have a vast brand. We have over 65 figures,
Yeah.
planned, and we have a world building. There's vehicles, there's humans, there's
Yeah,
play sets, but
absolutely. Especially when your
we're not
brand does focus quite a bit on scale and having everything be in the same unified scale. I remember
absolutely.
in one of the videos where a person was discussing the toy line at Toy Fair,
Yeah,
he wasn't entirely sure if the RC vehicle was in scale with the main line. The dinosaur was, but he wasn't sure if the vehicle was. And I think that's
right.
quite a missed opportunity because you should have brought a vehicle, a human figure
At
to this fair.
least,
Yeah, at least one vehicle, one human figure, right? Surely.
at least. It
Or
doesn't even
have
have to
a
be
smaller figure here just for scale, like a
right,
raptor here. Because when you
right,
have all these dinosaurs in scale, but all of them are incredibly large figures, that sense of scale is lost. Any kid looking at this assortment is going to think, wow, these are a lot of large figures. I might not be able
right.
to afford all of them, but I'm not getting the sense I need to buy all of them because I'm seeing individual figures with cool features, but I'm not seeing the world here.
Right.
You get
And
that,
if
right?
they're
Yeah.
in, right, not if they're in scale or not. And I feel like you said, the missed opportunity 2018 when they launched the line, remember how beautiful that was? There was
Yes.
vehicles, dinosaurs, humans, play sets. It was, like you said, collect
They
them
went the whole
all.
nine
You're
yards of an incredible
uh,
diorama. And this time,
everything.
yeah.
But I feel
Well,
like it might not be Mattel's fault. It could
yeah.
be embargo from Universal, and they were
Yeah.
only allowed to show the big five, which
Yeah.
again, Spinosaur, amazing. Did you get a chance to see the feature with the
Yes,
tail?
absolutely. Yeah.
It was so nice and smooth. Even the
Yeah.
T Rex. I'm a little T Rex out and Raptor out, honestly, the last few
Yeah.
years. But even that T Rex was amazing.
Yeah.
Like the way that,
They've really
yeah,
stepped
they
up their
stepped
game
up.
because the all-out attack T-Rex from Chaos Fury was really bad with the elongating
Hmm.
teeth and the really
Yes,
weird like nodding motion. But this Rex
yes,
and the other action features here do really stand out. And
right.
before we move on, I just want to cover the fact that I have two theories for for why we only saw these five. One
Hmm.
relates to the mutant dinosaur or any plot related dinosaurs, so stuff like potentially Velociraptor, Aquilops, etc.
Right,
I
right.
think that possibly could be down to Universal not wanting to show these figures, which is quite
Hmm.
interesting because they did preview some of them the week before with regards to Aquilops, Velociraptor, etc.
Right.
They did have to revoke their images that show the D-Rex or the
Yes.
mutant in this case. So that is quite interesting. That might explain it. The other figures in the main line that didn't get shown, like the main assortment here, we've known about a lot of these figures since August of last year with regards to, say, the
Yes.
Maiasaura, the Pseudoceratops, Baryonyx, etc.
Yeah.
I think the reason they're not showing them is not because they're not ready, because I think they are ready. They are ready to ship within the next 3 months, I'd say.
Absolutely. I feel like
Yeah,
they're already
I think they're
ready in
ready.
warehouse.
I think
Yeah.
they're in a warehouse somewhere waiting to be shipped. But
Yes.
I think the reason why they're not showing them is to prevent undue speculation with regards to whether or not these species are in the movie. I think this movie
I
is
can
meant
see
to be
that.
quite focused with regards to what species are going to be there. We're going to have the free species that we need to get DNA from. We're going to have our main antagonist being the mutant, but they also
Yes.
want to bring back obviously classic species like the Rex, the Dilophosaurus, the Raptor, and the
Right.
Spinosaurus.
The fan
And
favorites.
yeah, so I think this is gonna be quite a focused movie. So they don't want you guys or all of us to be speculating about whether or not, say, the Pseudoceratops is gonna be in this movie because it's probably not going to be in the movie. So I think that's possibly why. In addition, I think the five that they have chosen have been very cool, and I think let's talk about their action features. Let's start with the Quetzalcoatlus. The Quetzalcoatlus
Oh,
seems
that
to
was
have
beautiful.
incredible articulation. This is the first ever pterosaur figure with articulation that allows it to be both flying and walking on the ground, which is incredibly cool.
Hmm.
One button seems to activate a squawking feature with a chomp action, and the other one seems to extend its wings. What do you think about this figure?
I love it. It's giving me Kenner days. I love
Absolutely,
it.
it gives
I
Firebeak vibes, doesn't it?
Yeah, very Firebeak, and like you said, it's the first pterosaur that can actually be displayed this way. Because a lot of
Yeah,
personally, a lot of my little flyers, I don't know what to do with them on my
yeah.
shelf because you can't do this pose. So this gives me hope that they can actually make a Hammond collection version.
Ooh, absolutely. How my collection Quetzalcoatlus would be very
Yeah,
much.
like that will
Yeah,
be beautiful.
yeah.
And the Mosasaurus, it's a
It's
little two
great.
tone. No,
Yeah,
it's great. It's great.
yeah.
It's a little two tone, and I'm glad they finally updated because I mean, for
Yes.
God's sake, we was using
We've
the
had almost the
2018
same
mold.
sculpt for the past 6 years.
Right. All different colors, but I'm glad that they're able to make another beautiful one. This one
Yeah,
doesn't look very bath friendly like the last one, but this I like it. I like that one.
yeah.
Titano, that
Titano
one just
is
looks
incredible
huge.
looking, and it is going to be
Huge.
huge. And yeah, the Moses sword finally having articulate like a action feature
Yeah.
is also pretty cool. And speaking of
Yeah.
action features, let's talk about the Rex and the Spino because the Rex and the Spino really are the other than the main three guys here. The Rex and the
Yes.
Spino really have the coolest action features here. um,
I know, absolutely. The Spino, when I saw it, saw how smoothly everything works. And I'm glad that they thought outside the box because they could have very well just done the same chomping action,
yeah,
slashing attack. But the way the tail moved, the way it chomped, and even the Rex it's amazing that they're able to really up their game.
yeah. And one thing that you might notice about the feature when it was demonstrated is that they mentioned that it's a flywheel kind of mechanism, which means that there's no motors
Yes,
within this figure. There's lights and sound for the Rex, obviously. Oh god.
yes,
But other than that, this is a purely mechanical system where you press on a lever and it stores energy in a flywheel to create this motion, which is incredibly cool, I think.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and
yeah,
I think it
it's
might
different.
hopefully break less. I'm not entirely sure. I don't own all Attack T-Rex where they first demonstrated this feature, but
Yeah,
I hope that by not having a motor system in there, we might have a overall better chance of having a durable figure, which kind of lasts longer overall.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the one feature we gotta bring it back is the DNA is now back on the
Ah,
feet of the dinosaur.
yes. Yeah.
No
That's
more
really good. Yeah.
sacrificing. Yes.
Because I think a lot of fans were quite pissed that they decided to create this DNA scan code tab thing within the bodies. Because
Yes.
even in I think it was Dino Escape with their action feature, they created the slider feature where the
Yes.
sounds were activated with a slider as opposed to pressing down the feet or pressing on a button that was
Yes.
ingrained within the
Yes. I
sculpt.
remember that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they doubled down instead of changing the feature. They decided to create a pull-out scan tab, which further disrupted the sculpt. So I think this year is hopefully going to be quite a return to form with um, overall better sculpts that don't sacrifice the sculpt quality for action features.
Yeah, because I
And
mean,
yeah,
some fit okay, while others like the on the Carnotaurus on the reimagined one, it's like a big
yeah.
old. I thought it would be a dino damage, but no.
Five main figures were shown in person at Toy Fair. Let's also talk about the upcoming Mattel figures that we haven't seen yet in person, including the leaked ones, as well as listings and other figures that we've been shown images for, but we haven't seen in person. And I think the best way to do that is, you know me, I'm like I love my catalogs, especially the catalog that I've made.
Absolutely.
Um, so I think the best way to go through this is by looking at the new catalog that I've made for Jurassic World Rebirth.
All
Um,
right.
Let's first go over some of the other figures. This year we're getting a new assortment called Ultimate Damage, and these have LED lights and battle damage on them. The two figures that they've chosen are Scorpius Rex and Indoraptor, which is quite an interesting combination. Have you had any of these figures, and what are your thoughts on them?
Yes, I actually bought them and I reviewed them on my channel. I absolutely love the Scorpio Rex. It's very, very nice, an upgrade from the ones we got from before. It has the quill, it has a bit more better proportion, and it can stand because the other one we had, the electronic one, couldn't
Yeah.
stand.
Oh,
Indoraptor, on the other hand, very reminiscent of the one from Dino Tracker, which was a great
okay.
figure, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but wasn't much of an upgrade to spend another $35 on.
Ah, okay. Yeah. These seem to be your deluxe electronic figures that kids will quite enjoy. But I think
Yes.
overall, other than the Scorpius being a better sculpt, I'm not really looking. I'm not really looking forward to picking any of these up. But yeah,
Yeah. It's a
um,
little redundant. It's a bit
yeah.
redundant.
The other line that they've introduced last year was Jurassic World Reimagined, and we started off the line with the Chopper Chase Pack with Velociraptor and Muldoon, as well as the Roar and Real Carnotaurus. Now, the Carnotaurus obviously was did stir quite a lot of excitement within the community because it's the Incarno and
Absolutely.
everybody loves it. Has sound, real feel skin, overall incredible figure. But I think people are quite disappointed by the Chopper Chase Pack because it did occupy an entire Beyond the Gate slot. And it
Yes.
just seems like a very toned down version of the attack copter from 1993. And the Muldoon figure in ACU uniform just doesn't really work. And the Atrociraptor, Velociraptor figure just doesn't work either, I feel
Very
like.
mishmash. Yeah,
Yeah.
very mishmash. And it didn't help that Target itself leaked the set a month early.
Yeah,
So,
that also did not help the excitement at all.
right.
Actually, I'm not sure if it was an Atrociraptor or a Velociraptor. This sculpt is the Atrociraptor, but I think some of the listings say this
Yes.
call it a Velociraptor for some reason. I'll double check that, but yeah.
I
Now
mean,
let's move
price
on.
point
Yeah,
wise, oh, sorry. Price point wise, it was fun. 24.95. You got a vehicle, a human, and a dinosaur, but
yeah,
it kind of lost its magic on that particular set.
yeah. I think a 34.99 set with a bigger vehicle might have worked
Yes.
better. Like the
Yes.
Trinidad copter set from 2018 was pretty good with a very nice helicopter. And yeah, I think to my knowledge that was 34.99 around like adjusting for inflation probably would have been 34.99. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Even the 93 the Jeep that came with the Scootosaurus,
Ah,
that was
yes, that one.
beautiful. That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Was that one 34.99 as well or 40 or
Yeah.
39.99? Yeah.
Yeah, just about, yeah, but that was beautiful. So, like
Yeah.
you said, if they upped it up a bit more, maybe Target was asking for that particular price point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has potential that it could have
Yeah.
been better.
If anything, right? They
Yeah.
could have made this they could have made this an exclusive night tracker pack or something for a Target, right?
Oh, that would be
Have
beautiful.
the Alpha Velociraptor from Chaos Effect, have
Right.
a cool like maybe Doctor Snare figure or whoever that character is from Chaos Theory or from Chaos Effect, and have a very cool like let's
Glow in
say
the dark or
yeah,
something. Yeah,
with like a
that'd be
glow in the
fun.
dark tracking missile or something like that. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, that would have been very cool. But this current set, as it stands, just really is a disappointment of a set.
They just lost me with that one. But Mattel usually very well with their
Yeah.
reimagined stuff.
And
So
we'll get
yeah.
to a very interesting new reimagined figure that I found out about a couple of weeks ago when we
All
get
right.
to the Rebirth series. Now, moving on to the actual Rebirth stuff. This is the new section in the catalog that will be coming out sometime in possibly June or July once we get all the images for the toy line.
Yes.
But I've taken the liberty of designing the catalog already. This is the start of it. This is the logo. We're gonna have a page with the summary of the movie as well as some of the graphics from the current marketing.
Yeah.
The overall aesthetic that I've chosen here is meant to reflect some of the concept art that we've been shown, and I think it does match quite well with the packaging that we've seen at New York Toy Fair, as
Oh
well
yeah,
as some of
very
the
nice.
yeah. And obviously, we've got the Parker Genetics Pharmaceutical Engineering logo over here that we've got revealed at Universal Studios, as well as some scenes from the movie. If you guys remember from my previous catalogs, we've used generally just a very like static image as a background or just a plain color.
Hmm.
I've decided to just swap it up a bit and really hammer home the new Jurassic World Rebirth aesthetic of having a
It's
very
nice,
clean,
refreshing.
yeah,
Yes, very clean,
yeah.
refreshing, professionally.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the Danger Pack figures, we know of four potential listings, and they are Torvanestes, Yanni Smithy, Dentaniusukis, and Ruops primus. Obviously, we've seen the Rugops before. The other
Yes.
three figures are of species that are quite interesting, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on some of them? Have you heard
I
of any of
haven't.
these?
I have never heard of these dinosaurs, but when it leaked, I actually looked up a few of them.
Yeah.
I believe one is like another little mosasaur type of reptile that swims,
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
and there was another some type of sucus. But I love it. I like
Yeah.
that they are honestly Mattel. One thing they will do is give you new species every
Yeah.
year because they can very well just repaint,
Yeah.
raptors. But I love that it's so refreshing to have, even though these dinosaurs might not be necessarily be in the movie. I
Yeah.
just like the fact that we have all these different new species every year. I mean, it's hard to display everybody, but
Yeah.
it's nice and refreshing. It keeps the line
Alive.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, alive. World building.
Yeah, especially at this point in the line where we have gotten quite a number of the figures that we've wanted, both in mainline and Hammond collection. I think
Oh
getting
yeah.
into these obscure species is quite good, and they
Yeah.
bring attention to the new paleontological discoveries. Like for example, we got Stegosaurus and Jacopel, some of which
Yes.
were only discovered within the past decade. My only concern with some of these is A, the lack of fossil evidence for some of these species that they've chosen, and B, the creative liberties in terms of both size and sculpt. For
That is true.
example, Jacket Hill is a personal favorite of mine, and they've kind
Yes.
of butchered the sculpt and sizing here. The sculpt
Yeah.
is okay, but it is very characteristically Mattel with very big head, big eyes, short
But to
tail.
me, that figure seems like an old figure that was held back and released this year. Like scope wise, it does not match the aesthetics of this year's
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
but at the same
It,
time, Jacket Hill was discovered quite recently, so
yeah,
it is still surprising that they even managed to get a figure out at this point. Um,
yeah,
yeah, my main concern with that figure really is size, and I think Mattel really does need to
absolutely.
get into the smaller figures. Um,
And they have with the little
yeah,
two packs. I don't know why they don't continue with it. Maybe it's a
yeah.
budgetary issue, but I
I
feel like they
personally think
opened
that
that door for it.
they should be
Yeah.
taking more advantage of their minifigure section because I
Yeah.
don't think it'd be that big of a deal if every minifigure like series had two of, let's say, of the 16 figures that you can possibly get in
Yes.
a blind bag or a blind box
Right.
be accurately scaled minifigures like Compsognathus, Microceratus,
Oh,
Aquilops.
how that would be so again, world building. Like you
Exactly.
know, like
It gives
different
people an incentive to buy the
intertwine.
minifigures as well, because obviously the
Yes.
minifigures aren't a budget offering for kids, and
Right.
they're a place of opportunity for, as we will see later on, with some of the
Yes.
other minifigure sets. But I think we could be taking advantage of this to be making smaller figures. But for
Yeah.
now, you guys have Paleo Revived. I've been making a lot of the smaller figures. If
Yes.
you like painting them, we have them in Mattel scale, so that's great. With regards to the strike attack assortment, we know that these are coming. We have listings for them, but we don't have the names of the dinosaurs within this assortment. To my knowledge, we know of 8 different SKUs that are becoming in this assortment, but we
Do
don't know
you
what.
know if they counted the ones we gotten already this year in the eight, or is it eight different ones
To my
from?
knowledge, there's
Mhm.
8 unique SKUs that will be coming out.
Okay. Okay.
This year, I believe the SKUs all start with J, JGB,
Oh,
and stuff
okay.
like that.
Okay.
And all of the SKUs for Strike Attack did start with J, to my knowledge. So I
Oh,
think they are
nice.
this year.
Nice. Awesome.
With regards to the Wild Wars, for some reason we know all of them. Um, There are
Right.
8 figures. We've known about Utahraptor, Maiasaur, Baryonyx, and the Pseudoceratops since August of last year when they first revealed the movie. I'm very excited about Maiasaur and Utahraptor. I've really wanted both of those species for a very long time. Utahraptor, I've
Same.
obviously made one in Paleo Revived, but I'm very excited to see what the Mattel version would look like. What are your thoughts?
I am excited for it myself because if they are using the same baryonyx scope from the one we got from Chaos Theory,
Yeah,
that one's really nicely resculpted with like beefier arms and
yeah.
proportions made more sense.
I think the
I'm
detail on
excited
that one
for it.
is pretty good as well.
Oh,
The
is
Yeah,
beautiful. Is
yeah.
beautiful. And I'm sorry,
Nasuto, yeah.
Natutosaurus. That one we haven't gotten since Battle of Big Rock.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it didn't even come on Dominion, being that it
yeah,
was
given that it was
featured.
in the movie.
Yeah,
We
so
have concept art of a Jurassic World Dominion, a style the
right.
Triceratops being planned for the line, but it never got released, which is quite
Yeah.
interesting given how big the Dominion line was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited to have an Ceratops again in the main line so that we can repaint it.
I hope it's
You know?
different enough. Right. I'm excited for Utah Raptor. Again, just from this list is so much newness to the
Yeah.
line. Because again,
Eight
not
of the
long
eight,
ago,
six
yeah,
six of these are unique sculpts, which is
right.
incredible, honestly.
Not long ago, we were having repaints of the same
Baryonyx,
dinosaur, the next
Ceratosaurus,
wave.
yeah.
Right. So this is cool.
Metriacanthosaurus, God, that
Even
was
though they cut down the wave down to 2 wave a year,
yeah,
but we're getting more newness, and
yeah,
I'm happy about that. I don't need my 19th
yeah.
Triceratops.
I think my only concern is Euoplocephalus and Spiclepius, I think are incredible species choices. I think we've all wanted
Oh,
a Euoplocephalus
absolutely.
for ages. It's
Yes.
surprising that we never got one. We've only really had an Ankylosaurus as a large ankylosaurid.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
my concern is we're starting to get a lot of Abelisaurids here. We
Yes.
Carnotaurus. We went to Rajasaurus and Scorpio Venator, Majungasaurus and Primal Attack. Um,
And then the little
and
guy that just came out.
yeah, we have Gamacia, Rugov Trimax,
Yeah.
as well as a bunch of other yeah, a bunch of oh, Kilmosaurus, that was the other one that I was
Yeah.
thinking. And now we're getting Orcosaurus and Abelisaurus, which I think is interesting because we've really gotten a lot of Abelisaurs in the past couple of years. Someone at Mattel really loves their Abelisaurs.
I love it though, but because remember back in Hasbro Kenner, we only
Yeah,
get 6 different species every time there's a movie line.
true.
And that's about it. But now we're branching out, like even not to jump away, but sauropod. I can't believe we got 6 different sauropods
Yes, that is
in
very
scale.
impressive. Yeah,
That's crazy. Like it's and then we even got baby sauropods.
yeah,
So no, I think Mattel's doing amazing, and I hope this. I mean, granted, we haven't seen the movie line really, but I hope that Deco is much in par with the current line. Like,
yeah.
because I feel like the last couple of years they've been learning a little better how to
How color
spread
theory
out.
works and how
Yeah,
we like our paint, you know?
right.
Um,
Spread out the paint so it's not a two-tone dinosaur like Dominion,
yeah,
because that was horrible.
yeah. Uh, yeah, but I think that I think we're getting a lot of belly sores, and I think that's great. But also at the same time, I would like to see a greater diversity of species, more
Agree.
ankylosaurs, more ceratopsidae, more hadrosaurs, especially because we can
Oh,
reuse the bodies. It shouldn't be that hard to make more hadrosaurs. I know they don't sell as well because they're not predatory dinosaurs, but I would like to see more hadrosaurs.
yeah, and you know what? Now that you mention it, hatchers where we don't really get, I mean, we get the same parasol. I mean, not the same because they're always different scope, but Parasolophids
Yeah.
pop up quite often,
I would
right?
like
And
to
the
mention
last,
that we still
yeah,
haven't gotten the Coryphosaurus in the main line that's not Hammond collection.
I wonder if that one is just too obscure for them because the one in Hammer Collection is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
beautiful.
We've got
It's
the
beautiful.
Edmontosaurus, but I think that's
Yeah,
almost it in terms of the Hadrosaurus from Mattel.
yeah,
The
that's,
large Hadrosaurus. Iguanodon. But even then,
oh,
yeah.
maybe I mean they're preview to sales that we're not. Maybe
Yeah.
it's I don't feel like it's
Potentially,
sat
yeah.
around too long, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe. In terms
Yeah.
of the gigantic crashers, we have 4 new species. We have EH Triceratops, Tyrannotitan, Chelontiosaurus, and Purosaurus. Um, Very interesting species choices here. Eotriceratops is basically a larger version of Triceratops. It's not going to
I
be Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I looked it up. It looks like a
It
triceratops.
is basically a larger triceratops. Tyranotitan is an interesting species that we're getting.
Hmm.
I think that it's interesting that we're getting Tyranotitan and Chelantosaurus before something like Torvosaurus or something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But Tyranotitan and Chelantosaurus are good species to be doing. Purosaurus, I think a lot of people have wanted. Deinosuchus would be another interesting crocodilomorph that we could possibly be getting eventually, hopefully. Because I feel like
Yeah,
people do like Deinosuchus a lot. Because we have Gontosorcus and now we have Purosaurus. Deinosuchus would be a good
yeah. I
continuation. Yeah.
like it. Like you say, it creates diversity and world building
Yeah.
combined because it's not just another. Because honestly, sometimes the theropods all just look very similar. Like you
Yeah.
got the last one and the one before that. So no, I love it. I love the
Yeah.
different diversity into the line.
And well, in terms of any good toy line needs to have human packs, obviously. And we are
Absolutely.
actually getting two new human packs that have been revealed last week. There is Zora Bennett with the Velociraptor, Henry Loomis with the juvenile Pteranodon. The thing is, this movie has a cast of over 10-ish main protagonists, and we're only
Right.
seeing currently three of the human characters in terms of
Yes, I believe
what's
there
been
was a
leaked.
Henry figure
Yeah.
with a Jeep that I really do enjoy.
Yes.
But this one I might have to give it to Mattel. That is not their fault. I feel
Yeah.
like that Mattel has tried to do the human figures since the line
Yeah.
started. They did
We've
the
had single carded
7.99.
figures. We've
Yeah,
had
they
humans with
even in
vehicles.
Legacy.
We've had
Yeah.
legacy. We have Hammond collection, single
But
carded humans.
people, yeah, people. I mean, humans are just not selling because
Yeah.
even 99% of the time, you can get the human Hammond collection down to $3, $4 when it goes on sale on
Yeah.
clearance. And
So
they really tried, but even now with Hammond collection, I feel like they cut the human out and threw another dinosaur in, which is
yeah.
amazing. Don't get me wrong, instead of
Yeah.
just cutting out completely. But even Camp Cretaceous, Chaos Theory, I'm kind of sad that we never got Sammy, the new version.
Yeah. Or Brooklyn.
Or
Yeah.
Brooklyn, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's just quite unfortunate.
it's unfortunate. And again, I guess play pattern is different these days. Kids are more app and video games, but
Yeah.
so I get it. I get it. And like you said, human figure is included in Target's packs.
Yeah.
Target try to get as much they try to put little human and dinosaur combined together.
Yeah.
So no, absolutely. I believe there is two more coming out besides these two, based off of a leak from the Brazil Toy Fair. It didn't have
Mhm.
any name, but I feel like there was SKUs.
Mm.
So two more figures somewhere in there, maybe for the family. Who
Yeah,
knows?
potentially.
No.
The other set that everyone's quite excited about is obviously the Martin Krebs and Velociraptor launch and battle vehicle set.
Yes.
Comes with
Yes.
a mostly accurate Velociraptor. I think that is very much the Hammond collection looking sculpt with regards to the head.
Even the eye.
Yeah, it gives Hammond collection. But
Yeah.
overall,
Very.
the entire set is very promising. This is a very nice vehicle. This is a very good human
Yes.
figure and a very well painted Velociraptor figure, honestly, other than black
Yes.
claw paint. But yeah,
Yes. I love this. I love this little Jeep thing. I don't know if they designed it on purpose in the movie, so it's more toyetic, but I love
potentially,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. The only difference I did spot was this one would have 2 seat versus 4 seat.
4 seats, yes. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people mentioned that. I presume that's just to fit in with the size constraints of
Oh, absolutely.
packaging and SKUs at retail. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's overall great that we're even getting a vehicle set in this case,
Yes.
especially with such an iconic
Yes.
vehicle. And it's going to be, yeah, we hope it's going to be iconic in the movie because it does look pretty
Yes.
cool. So
Yes.
yeah. And then we move on in the catalog to some of the bigger figures, Spinosaurus, Mosasaurus, Kets,
Yes.
Tyrannosaurus that we've all seen, as well as the page for the Mutant Dino, which we will find
Hmm.
out about eventually, I hope, and the Titanosaurus. The last thing
Yes.
that I want to talk about the
Wow.
current line is the Jurassic World reimagined Roaring Real Feel Indominus Rex. Now, obviously, this is based off the level 40 variant that we see in the Jurassic World
Hmm.
game, as well as the hybrid Rampage version that Hasbro put out in 2016. What
Yes.
are your thoughts on this incredible looking figure?
I really love it. I don't know if I really need a real feel,
Yeah.
but I love it. I love the deco. I mean, let's face it, Dominus Rex sells regardless.
Yes, absolutely.
They can keep pumping them out and they're still selling. And Mattel has gotten so much better with the Indominus Rex. The teeth are much better now. The
Yeah. The
feet is
head
more
sculpt on this one
proportioned.
looks significantly
Yeah,
better. Even no, I kind of really like the Destroy and Devour head sculpt for some reason.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't really like the Dino Trackers one as much for some reason. I think the paint has something to do with it, but this one looks like an Indominus Rex, very much so.
Yes,
Yeah,
this one. Again, I wish the paint, the red goes all the way down to the tip of the tail.
yeah,
But other than that, no, I love it.
yeah.
I, I, I honestly really love Jurassic World Reimagined. I love.
Yeah,
It's fun.
there is a
It's
lot of
just
potential here.
yeah.
Yeah, if they can do a Carnoraptor or a Spinoraptor,
Oh,
boy,
those would
oh
be
boy, are
amazing.
those gonna sell.
Those would be amazing. Yeah, no, this figure is amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
Can't wait for it.
yeah. Topic three that we're going to talk about in this session is the Hammond collection and its future. Now, as we mentioned earlier, they've done quite a bit of Hammond collection already since 20. I think they started this in 2020, 2021-ish for Hammond collection.
Yeah, I
Was it?
believe so. Yeah,
Or not
Dominion
Dominion,
year.
yeah, Dominion year-ish, 2022 maybe.
Yeah,
And since then, we've gotten almost every single movie species, which is very impressive, honestly. At least
yes,
one of every species.
right,
An interesting thing that we should mention is that Hammond Collection hasn't really done any repaints other than the Velociraptors, actually.
right.
Even then, I think they've all three of them have been unique sculpts. All four of them have been unique sculpts. The Jurassic Park one raptor, JP free male and female raptors, and
Yes.
Velociraptor Blue. So I've gone through all of Hammond Collection, all of the movies to pick out what additional
Hmm.
repaints, additional retools, or new sculpts they could possibly be making.
Hmm.
Now, this is not to say that they are making any of these, but these are just my ideas for what the future of Hammond Collection could
The
look like.
easy hanging fruits. Yeah,
Yeah, or just other species that I think people would want to see.
right.
Starting off with the small figures, we have two Gallimimuses that I think people would love to see. The Jurassic World version of the Gallimimus with a slightly different paint job, which is almost quite
Yes.
similar to the original one. The reason
Yeah.
why I included this is because the Gallimimus is one of those figures that sold out really quickly and I think has gone up in price quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely.
And either a Jurassic World version or a Jurassic Park 10 or blue and red version would be much appreciated by the fandom, I think.
Absolutely.
With regards to Velociraptor, I think the Jurassic World Raptor squad would be very cool to complete. We have Delta, we have Velociraptor Blue. Oh yeah, so Delta is a slight retool of Blue. I think it's not the same sculpt exactly. I think people said the arms
Hmm.
and the legs were slightly different, but yeah.
Yeah, it was different. Yeah, a little bit.
Um,
Yeah.
Two other Raptors I could see them skipping over, however, are the Camp-Cretaceous version of Echo, as well as the Camp-Cretaceous Raptor that we see on Manticore Island. I think those two are just
Yeah,
quite obscure designs.
yeah,
One raptor that I do see them making, however, is the Jurassic World Rebirth Raptor, especially because they have the sculpt ready. They've done the paint. They've shown
yes.
that they can do the paint at mainline level as well. I don't
Right,
see a reason why they're not going to make one for Hammond Collection.
right, right. No, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think your list is amazing. The only thing I would change for certain things would be the Gallimimus. I mean, even if
yeah.
you re-release it, change maybe downsize the feet because
Oh
that was
yeah,
the biggest
probably.
issue.
Yeah,
Their
they
feet
had
were
massive feet. I think. Yeah,
oh the first year of Hammett, their feet was still mainline-ish.
yeah.
So no, I
Probably
no, I
more
think
so than mainline. I think the small figures for the first 2 years of Hammond were really bad, actually.
oh the Raptor feet was
Yeah,
horrible. But no, I think we will benefit a lot from the Gallimimus and
yeah.
the Dilophosaurus because even that one still commands
Yeah,
pretty high price.
that one still is
Yeah,
getting, yeah.
because they really
Atrociraptor
zoom
is,
through. Yeah.
yeah. Atrociraptor is low hanging fruit, I feel like, to complete the rest of the Atrociraptor
I
squad.
think it has potential, maybe not at this particular second, but with
Chaos
Chaos Theory
Fury,
continue,
yes,
yes,
absolutely, yeah.
that
They could
is
really
gonna be more.
yeah, they
Yeah.
could release this as a Chaos Fury kind of Hammond collection thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
With regards to new sculpts, right? We have a lot of figures, like we mentioned earlier. I wrote this list quite a while back, so Apatosaurus has now
Hmm.
been released as a mainline figure, but
Hmm.
as a Hammond collection figure, it would be cool to have the juvenile species, Baryonyx, with the
Hmm.
prosthetic arm. Obviously, we mentioned stuff like Moros, Microceratops, Lysiosaurus, Oviraptor, Compsognathus, etc. Um, Other than that, we have some species here from the extended canon as well from Chaos Fury and stuff, and Camprotatius. Stuff like Monolophosaurus, Smilodon, Spinoceratops, Nophosaurus, Dracorex, and Peloraploides, I think would be great species to include as
Oh,
small figures in Hammond
absolutely.
collection. I'm releasing a good number of these in Paleo Revived if they don't eventually get
Hmm.
around to this. The Quillops as well, we showed off earlier. With regards to the medium figures, so that's stuff like Baryonyx, Parasaurolophus, etc. I think we could get a lot of repaints here.
Absolutely. I think
Yeah,
this assortment is very missed.
Yeah,
in
because
retail
we
wise.
have
Yeah.
a lot of good sculpts here. Baryonyx,
Mm-hmm.
especially, we have a lot
Mm-hmm.
of variants for. We only
Mm-hmm.
have Chaos or like the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom version, but obviously we have the Baryonyx
Yes.
trio from Count Cretaceous. We have the Leucistic Baryonyx, which is one head sculpt away.
Mm-hmm.
Ankylosaurus, I think we could be getting a lot more of. Like we have the Jurassic Park free version, but I think a Jurassic World or a bumpy version would be much appreciated.
Have you seen that one on eBay lately?
Which one?
The Ankylosaurus.
No, not really.
It
What is
it
it?
shot up to almost $100.
Oh my God. Another one, yeah.
Yeah.
That shot up is Ceratosaurus, which is why it's on
Yeah.
number one on the list. Ceratosaurus is now going for an insane price. It is actually
It's
ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like because they were not hard to get. I mean, for the most part, honestly, you if you wanted one, you could have gotten one.
yeah,
But yeah, for whatever reason, these are shooting up in prices.
yeah. In terms of new sculpts that they could possibly be doing, we have
Oh,
Tyrannosaurus
those
and
would be awesome.
Kentrosaurus for from Count
Yes.
Cretaceous, obviously. The Pseudoceratops from Jurassic World Dominion about Big Rock.
Hmm.
Sinoceratops, I think, is a very important one because Sinoceratops has multiple paint apps in Count Cretaceous.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of people want to have a collection of Sinoceratops. I think there was this one custom that people thought was an Axel leaked figure, and I think a lot of people really liked it. People want a
Yeah.
Sinoceratops Hammer collection figure.
Yeah.
In terms of other more obscure figures, Juvenile Allosaurus from Fallen Kingdom, I think we still don't have a very good figure of. The Fallen
Hmm.
Kingdom one from 2018 is not a great likeness, but I think we could do a very good one. Teratophonius actually is just the juvenile Allosaurus with a slightly modified head. So getting a juvenile Allosaurus done would mean getting a Teratophonius done, basically.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of
No, this
Chaos
list
Fury,
is
yeah,
great. No,
yeah,
this list is really, really good. I can see all of these doing well,
yeah,
because they're featured in, again, as long as Theory featured these dinosaurs, like you said, Sinoceratops and the Pseudoceratops alone makes sense.
yeah,
Like that, those two can sell on their own. They are
yeah.
never shelf warming.
Mm.
So I don't know what's going on with the medium assortment. This is what the second year we don't have any.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's sold not as well. Maybe the budget was to make bigger dinosaurs, but
I think they've had
no,
to.
yeah,
I think they've had to give off shelf space to move on to the slightly larger assortment. So that's Carnotaurus, Allosaurus, and
yeah, and those are
Stegosaurus.
amazing.
Yeah, those are beautiful, honestly.
Yeah, those are
Um,
really beautiful
other
and
than the huge,
affordable.
yeah, yeah, they are affordable. They're pretty good
Yeah.
actually. Ferrozenosaurus and Giganotosaurus especially, I think were incredible for that price point. I think you mentioned
Hmm.
that it's the same price as the Strike and Roar Giga, which is very
Yes.
impressive on their part.
And in the States, yeah, it's 49.99 for that the mainline one and 49.99 again for the Hammond one. But
Yeah,
and the best part with Target carrying it, a majority of the time you can get it like on sale.
yeah.
So you don't really always pay retail.
And since we're already talking about the larger figures, I think a
Hmm.
Carnotaurus Demon or a Carnotaurus Toro would be pretty
Oh,
good
that
to
will go
have as
crazy.
a as a repaint. Though we have gotten
Hmm.
a Demon Carno already, so I'm not entirely like fussed if they don't
Rushing.
make one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. In terms of new sculpt, I think the Quetzalcoatlus is gonna be a great seller. Jurassic World Dominion or
Hmm.
Jurassic World Rebirth, either one would do very well.
Hmm.
Stegosaurus, I think, is coming. We don't have it as a confirmed Stegosaurus. However, I think
Right.
it is. Um, Tarbosaurus from the Hidden Adventure, Iguanodon from Dominion, Edmontosaurus from the games, Suchomimus from Chaos Theory, and the Indoraptor and Scorpius Rex. All of these would be very good Hammond collection figures, I feel like. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. But speaking of Suchomimus,
Yeah.
uh, what do you think about that set that we saw with Ben and the eggs and the Gallimimus? Do you think that's canceled and
I
replaced
am
with the
not
one we
entirely
got?
sure.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't seen. I've seen one prototype of that Suchomimus. Other than that, I haven't seen anything from that set since it was basically revealed. So I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure. I
And we're
haven't even seen a
moving on.
listing of this on any of the distributor
Yeah.
sites. So it is
Yeah.
interesting that they've revealed something that they aren't potentially distributing at all. But we'll
Yeah.
keep our eyes out because
Yeah.
obviously I have found some of the more obscure unreleased sets in the past. So we might find
Right.
one eventually.
We
Yeah.
shall see.
In terms of the extra large figures, we have stuff like the sauropods. I don't think we're gonna get most of these sauropods in the Hammond collection. I think the mainline ones are good enough. I think a Jurassic Park free
A
Brachiosaur repaint would be
potosaur.
great.
A
Yeah.
potosaur I can see
I can see
could
them doing
benefit
it,
from
but at
it.
the
It
same
could
time, I
benefit.
don't think it sold well enough to justify it. I think the Patasaur did shelf warm in quite a few retailers.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah,
compared to the Brachiosaur, yeah.
yeah.
Buck Rex, that's gonna sell like no tomorrow. I feel like
Yeah, the only issue
the
with
one they
Buckrex is
showed
I
off,
think
mhm,
that yeah, with the fact that it was released with the gates, I'm not sure if they're ever going to be releasing this one as a single
which
card ever
is
again,
they locked
which is
themselves in that
unfortunate. Yeah.
situation. Right,
A
right. But
Spinosaurus is
Spinosaur,
coming
yes.
this year, which we are all really excited for. The issue is whether or not it's going to be a Jurassic World Freak or a Jurassic World Rebirth design. I think everyone's leaning towards Jurassic Park Free.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
especially the fact that the mainline Rebirth Spinosaurus is beautiful. Honestly,
Yes,
it is
it
perfect
is
almost.
beautiful.
But yeah, and Indominus Rex, I think everybody wants really well. Hammond collecting
Absolutely.
Indominus Rex really just seems like the logical next option.
With
Um,
all the articulation
yeah,
added, and yeah, and with the
especially
current,
with yeah, especially
yeah,
with the Indominus Rex, which kind of can get on all fours and be bipedal. I think that extra articulation really helps here. So
yeah,
yeah,
they would
um,
definitely benefit from it. Yes.
yeah. So now that we've talked about the Rebirth line, the Rebirth movie, and Mattel's Hammond collection and its future, let's talk about the line in general. And I think that we can break that down into the quality of the toys that they've made in terms of paint application, sculpt, detail, accuracy, as well as what features they have and whether or not we have humans, vehicles, and playsets. We can talk about the distribution channels that they've now implemented. We can talk about the longevity of the line overall, as well as what communication Mattel has done with us in the past couple of years. Do you want to start us off by talking about the toy quality overall and your thoughts on
Oh,
it?
absolutely. Toy quality, I feel like we have definitely gotten up as far as accuracy and proportions. Now the dinosaur
Oh,
tails
absolutely.
are
Yeah.
longer, feet are smaller, they're no longer clown feet.
Yeah.
Um, Selection wise, I think they're doing good. They're on average giving us at least 15 to 20 new species every year
Oh, yeah,
without repaints.
absolutely.
You're
Yeah.
not going to get that with Hasbro.
30 in some years, actually.
Yeah, 30, like this year, I feel like we're going to hit almost 30.
Yeah.
And I feel like as distribution wise, we do have a little issue here. With the
Yeah.
bigger dinosaurs, not really. But
Yeah.
what we do have is, for whatever reason, Danger Pack and Savage Strike are not being carried with
Yeah.
Target and
And I
Amazon,
think
but they're at Walmart.
I was
Mhm.
quite pessimistic with this last year when we last spoke, but
Yes.
we are like even in Hong Kong, we are still just getting a lot of the like deluxe electronic feature figures. So
Yes.
it's always just T-Rex all the time. They've kind of started diversifying more. I think we started to get Hammond collection and we got a bit of 93 Classic. But
Yes.
even then, it's not enough because they've marked up all of the prices. So it's all still the deluxe figures. We're not getting very basic figures. This baseline
Yeah.
figure is still the Hammond Collection Velociraptor, which still costs 20 USD basically
That's
at our
crazy.
currency. So
That is crazy.
yeah. So distribution wise, I think they could be doing better, but at the same time, I think they're trying their best. I think it is just
Yeah,
retailers wanting to
absolutely.
stock the things that they
Yeah,
think would sell well, which
because
is
I
all to
also
T-Rex.
feel like the Danger Pack and the Savage Strike are the only two assortment that you cannot have solid cases. So therefore,
Yeah,
you have to buy
absolutely.
in an assortment. So maybe Target just said, "Let's stop taking risk and let me pick out what I want to pick out." Because other,
Yeah,
Star
potentially.
Wars is doing that, Marvel is doing that. So
Yeah,
everyone is kind of following that trend. And I think it also start out from online retailers, so that way they can
yeah.
sell a particular figure. But overall, I'm happy with Mattel. I'm happy with Jurassic World Reimagined. I'm happy they're making
Yeah,
toys for kids,
they're making toys
but
for kids, but they're also making
yeah,
a toy line that's accessible for adults as well as the average
and
collector.
collectors.
Yeah, so
Absolutely,
it's an
absolutely.
incredible toy line. We have their basic figures, we have our main line, we have our collector friendly Hammond collection, we have a bunch of
Right.
other collections, reimagined and ultimate damage and stuff with really cool features. And we're still getting humans, vehicles, playsets, and we're still getting sauropods at 1/18 scale.
And
I don't think we can ask for more
50,
almost.
absolutely over 50 figure a year.
Yeah,
That's
consistently.
Yeah, on a non-movie year, we have a cartoon show.
Yeah.
Remember back in the time with Hasbro, we got maybe 6 species.
Yeah.
And that was 2 years, and that was it. They would just,
Yeah.
sleep the line. So Mattel's doing a fine job. Honestly,
Yeah.
they could work on distribution and
Yeah.
communication. We shouldn't be
Yeah.
finding out toys from a leak. And you
Yeah.
do an amazing job finding
Thank
leaks.
you. But
But we
yeah.
shouldn't, yeah, we
I
shouldn't,
do want us to have live streams from Mattel or something like
yeah,
what they're doing
like
with Hasbro, where they show
absolutely.
off their product. I think what part of what made Toy Fair so special in the past was
Yes,
having Mattel or Hasbro be there to describe their product, to show off the entire
right.
collection right at the start of the year, not just to manufacturers, not just to the news, but to the fans themselves.
Yes.
Show them what they're in for the entire year, to show them the potential of the line, to show them how the different products interact with each other. And
The
yeah,
world building
yeah.
part, like
And that's the magic of Toy Fair part of it. It's
absolutely.
discovering what's coming the next year. Partly to find out how much you have to save for the coming year, but also to find out what's coming and how incredible the line could possibly be.
Yeah, I think that cross sell helps, but these days toy lines just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And and Mattel honestly tried with play sets and human
Yes.
figures, but retailers are just not supporting it. And if
Yeah.
retailers don't support it, they can't make it. So,
Yeah. I think they
certain
are
things
trying, especially I think
they are absolutely
with regard
trying.
to Beyond the Gates, I think you have some thoughts about that.
Yes, Beyond the
Yeah.
Gates, I'm so happy with their relationship with Target that the last 7 years they are able to
Yeah.
bring in. Let's be real. Brachiosaur, they took such a big risk.
Yeah, they
That has
did.
never been done. And it was
Yeah.
affordable, $50.
Yeah.
So from there on, we rolled on with the Legacy Collection. We have Reimagined. We have all these different beautiful things. Classic
Yeah.
93, the beautiful relationship they have with all the end caps and things.
Yeah.
So Target is definitely an ally to the Jurassic World line.
Yeah.
But I did honestly, not gonna lie, I got kind of bored with the Creator Edition last year.
Yes.
It just
Um,
got
yeah.
boring, redundant. It's the same
Yeah.
thing you're showing me every month.
Not just because the products themselves weren't as
No,
interesting, because it was just one Hammond collection release every month and or
yeah,
maybe a reimagined release.
right,
But it was also the fact that all of the creators weren't exactly people in the community knew. They
yeah,
were mostly toy photographers from doing other franchises. They were being called in to do Jurassic for one, like to do Jurassic
right.
once kind of stuff. And they're covering toy
And
photography in such a cursory manner that it was really, yeah, not as
yeah,
great as it
I
could be.
just it's such a loss again, another lost potential to make your brand bigger.
Yeah,
Let your own collectors, the people that know about the history of the franchise, the toys and
yeah,
everything, the ones that would be happy to do it for you for
yeah,
free.
yeah. And
Just
even at the
yeah,
start of Beyond the Gates, we had a lot of talk and behind the scenes
yeah,
footage given by Mattel themselves about how
exactly.
they designed the figure. And that was so cool because we barely ever get communication from them in the first place or
Yes.
any behind the scenes shots about how to design the product. And that is,
And
yeah,
to hear the passion behind
yeah,
the person making it and how excited, because at
yeah,
the end of the day, we're never going to get these perfect product because certain things going to sacrifice for this price point, or we try to make this and that didn't work. It's fun to hear those behind the scenes stories.
yes, it
It's fun
is.
to hear all that versus just here's the triceratops eating a tree that I took a picture of.
Yeah,
Not to say it's not good, but it's like it's redundant. Like you did that the last episode, and then
yeah,
the episode before that. So I
yeah.
feel like that they could have
There,
shown
there
off
there are
the
only
toys
so
so
many
much
episodes
more.
where dynamic lighting and fog spray in
Yes,
a can
yes.
is
Did I learn a
interesting, you
few
know?
things? Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
But I learned all of that in episode one.
Right. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. They take beautiful photos, but
Yeah.
are we using these photos on the back of the box? That would be
No.
beautiful,
Yeah,
but
but
we're
we're
not
not.
doing anything with it. So, but overall, to say Mattel, I think is doing a fine job. I think
Yeah.
Mattel is doing everything that not everything, but is doing a good 80% of what we wanted
Yes.
to provide different species, to provide diversity, world building, and articulation. You
Yeah,
can have
absolutely.
all these Hammond collection is beautiful. It's such a beautiful, colorful collection to even look at.
Yeah.
So I hope that
I
this
think
line has
after
longevity.
yeah, after all 7 years of this line,
Yes.
looking back at your collection, it is incredible how many figures we've gotten, how many incredible sculpts we've gotten, how many dinosaurs that we
Oh,
never thought
the
we'd ever see on.
sauropods
Yeah,
alone, right?
yeah.
The sauropods. We have six different species of sauropods.
Of large sauropod, just large sauropod.
Large
Even this,
sauropods.
we're not even including the smaller ones like Mosaurus, Amargasaurus,
Yes.
Bajatosaurus, that kind of stuff. This is such an incredible line, and I really hope it
It's
does continue for the next 2 3 years at least.
Oh, absolutely. I think as we'll see how Rebirth do because they haven't
Yeah,
necessarily announced, the Hollywood love trilogies, but they haven't announced anything beyond the current movie. Maybe they're
yeah,
kind of seeing how it goes. I hope it does well.
yeah,
We still have a couple of seasons of Chaos Theory, and um, who knows what else is on the horizon.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me this evening. I
Thank
presume we
you.
have another scheduled soon, and I look forward to talking more about toys with you next time as well, and potentially